Hi. This will be my second time around that I try to make a YouTube video. Let's see if it succeeds. So I want you to know about the best ways or the ways to learn the Tigrinya language. This is like for any beginner who never studied Tigrinya, who wants to study it, like I was also when I was younger. So I studied around when I was 13 years old. I started studying Tigrinya by my own. So I'm a self-taught Tigrinya, not a speaker, I wouldn't say, but yeah, dabbler. And I started when I was 13, while there were not many materials. So this is completely about resources. I don't tell you any other things. So when I was 13, I got one book when I was visiting my aunt in Eritrea, which is very good and which was the best until now, I think. Or maybe it is still. It's called Tigrinya Grammar by John Mason. I don't have a hard copy because I lost it sometime over the years. But it's called Tigrinya Grammar by John Mason, or Tigrinya Swasu by John Mason. Yeah, you can. Maybe I'll link it if I figure out how to write a link under the description of this video. Let's see. Okay, otherwise, there are other good resources that have not been available at that time, which I figured out over the years, and I want to share them with you. First of all, there are several very old books that I've written about the Tigrinya language from the 19th century. I find it's amazing to just read, not only for learning about the language, but also it has so much historical context and yeah, so many things you learn about the culture as well, because those were like really guys from universities who studied the language as well as the people of the region and made grammar books. And yeah, you can say they are Eurocentric. Of course, they're Eurocentric, they're written by Europeans, especially at that time. But there are no other books by any Eritreans or Ethiopians about the grammar of their languages, as far as I know. I just found one Eritrean grammar book, which I will also show you later. And it's written completely in Tigrinya, so probably not for beginners who don't speak Tigrinya already. So it's also worth looking at Google Books to find these old books, because they are royalty free now and you can download them. But I found some in French, which I am fortunate enough to speak, so I don't remember, Langue du Tigray, je crois ça s'appelle. I think it's called Langue du Tigray or Langue Tigray de Schreiber, je crois. I think the guy's name who wrote that book was Schreiber. He's an Austrian, but he wrote this book in French, which was the academic language at that time, apparently. And there's also one by a famous Italian linguist called Carlo Conti Rossi or Rossini, I'm not sure exactly. It's also a very good book, which I rented from a library here, but I don't own it because it would be too expensive. It's also a very old book and probably outdated by now, but it's also a very good book if you speak Italian. But apart of that, there are like some modern books which came out recently or not recently, and those I want to present you because you can base your studies on that now. There is, for example, I will go just through them, what I have here. I just have 3 books out here. So the Mason is still recommended, Tigrinya Swasu by Mason. Then a really good book, actually, if you have no idea of Tigrinya, because it has exercises and it has also, like, you can do it in self-study or in a class surrounding, is this one here. Let's Speak Tigrinya, or Tigrinya Nazareb. I ordered this one from the US, so it was pretty expensive because I had to pay all of this fees. I couldn't get it here in Germany. But it's worth it. For me, it's not worth it because I think it's my level, but it's like more of a course book. And I don't know if it didn't teach me anything actually so far, because right now I'm at a level where I can just read through texts, even though it's very strenuous because I read very slow. It's normal because I don't speak the language well, and also the symbols are still like not as come as easily to me as the Latin when I read it, of course. But I can read through like newspaper text and make out most of the meaning right now. So I'm at a pretty good level. But if you have no clue, it really takes you from 0 to hero almost. It takes you to a quite good level, actually. So Let's Speak Tigrinya is a good book. I would recommend for you. If you have no clue, or even if you have a clue, it also, because I struggle with sentence formation in Tigrinya, it helps you with sentence formation, relative clauses, etc. And all of that in a context of text, which other books lack. They are pure grammar books. But this one gives you also some text with it. It lacks the translation of every text, unfortunately, but it has some good, if you have a teacher especially, it will be a good book. Otherwise, there is, it reminds me of this old 1900th century French by this Schreiber, this long Tigray or Tigray language book. It has good text translations, which I couldn't find in any other books, but they are mainly from the Bible or from letters that old nobles in, what has been then Eritrea or Ethiopia have written to preachers at that time, and really good translations for me. You can learn a whole lot from them, but they are old terms and will not help you really going forward in your modern Tigrinya language learning. Otherwise, what I said before, there's one I found in Tigrinya, this one here by Emmanuel Sahle. It is called Swasu Tigrinya Besefihu, so comprehensive Tigrinya grammar, or a fat Tigrinya, I don't know, a big Tigrinya grammar, comprehensive Tigrinya grammar. Yeah, that's the translation. Comprehensive Tigrinya grammar. And I don't know, it's in Tigrinya. I just had it because I saw, a book written by an Eritrean on Tigrinya grammar. I should support it. That's what I do sometimes. So I bought it and I dabbled a bit into it. But I don't know. It's too difficult for me, of course, and it's also not interesting enough to read only a book about grammar when you don't speak the language good enough in that same language. It's not the best subject. What I then did was once I reached this level, I read a yoga book my aunt wrote. I don't know if you can order it from outside. It's also a very good book. It's called Yoga Net'ana, I think. It's written by Ruth Simon. And I read the whole first book. She has 2 books. And what I didn't understand, I asked my mother, which is a big advantage I have, of course. And it helped me a lot to understand the sentence structures in Tigrinya. And after I did that, now I am in this phase where I can read newspaper articles, for example, from BBC Tigrinya. Well, there's not so many options to choose from where you read Tigrinya articles online from, but I do that. And I'm trying to get into novel reading or reading stories in Tigrinya, but it's very difficult still. But I started one book and it goes kind of, let's see how it goes in the future. Otherwise, there's children's stories. This one is, for example, a little children book I bought in Mekelle when I was there to visit once. It's children's stories, but I wouldn't advise you to read children's stories because they are mainly not that interesting. But maybe if it's your interest, it's okay. Maybe it's also good. They are not so simple as you may think it is. And I don't know if they really teach you also daily things that you need, or not even in your area of interest. So, for example, if you want to follow the news, read the news, it's better. If you want to talk to people, of course. If you have people around. Anyhow, this is just a little things. Then a book which helped me a lot, actually, and came out recently. This one here, Essential Guide to Tigrinya, the Language of Eritrea and Northern Ethiopia, by Andrew Tedros and Abraham Tehlu. And Andrew Tedros he was a Peace Corps volunteer who lived some years in Tigray in Ethiopia. And Abraham Tehlu is in Tigray, and he I don't know if he lives in the US or something, but I'm not sure about who they are exactly, but it's a very good book because it's an easy book. It is it gives you the gist only, or without overwhelming you with grammar. It just gives you only the essential, exactly what it says, the essential guide, and makes it easy for you to retain the essential information and then apply on your own, which I think it's the key in Tigrinya, depending on what you want to do, of course. I think the key is to apply it in order to be able to speak it and to listen to it, and this is what I didn't do enough. So my goal for 2020 will be to find a tandem or something to speak more often in that language, but I have time. I started with 13, I'm now 35, and I hope I will reach an old age, and one day I will become fluent. And for any questions that you have, please write it underneath. Ask me some things. I will continue with another video, but it's just for a few resources that I wanted to show you how you can learn Tigrinya with. Of course, there's YouTube, etc. There are radios and everything like that you can watch once you have a basis of Tigrinya, I think. But it's really essential, even though people tend to disagree, but I think it's essential to first study a bit of the grammar. Maybe in the next video I will tell you what I think is essential to know in the grammar, but it's good that you have these books now who at least show you the grammar, because when I grew up I didn't have these books. I just saw this John Mason book when I was at my aunt. I didn't even own it, I just saw it there quickly, and I was a little kid. I saw it, I went back home, and then later when I was older I remembered that book, and I think I ordered it at the store here, and it really helped me a lot to understand the language already. Then I had a break without doing anything, and then I reviewed the grammar again. I think it was with this book here, and it gives you only the essence, and then I really understood. It made a click, like how it works, like the verbs, etc., how they change. And then I had another click moment after reading this yoga book, because I understood better. I'm struggling a lot with it, but I understood better the sentence structure and like the relative clauses, etc. in Tigrinya, and they are really messing up my brain still. When I hear something, sometimes I understand it, but still it doesn't make sense to me. It's just because I'm not exposed enough and I don't have the training enough, I think. But I'm on the way, and you can be too if you decide to. I hope this will help you. If not, leave me a comment and I will try to answer you. Have a good 2021. See you next time.